Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Trust Conference. From Eastern Europe to the Middle East, to South and Central Asia, the very pillars of democracy, such as electoral integrity, the rule of law and freedom of expression, are now constantly under attack.
The biggest problem we face globally right now is whether an international rules-based order still works.
Media is and technology is either a weapon or it's a tool, or both.
The fact is we see deep declines in trust across institutions of all types and in, the very idea of facts.
The harassment of lawyers for representing journalists is not just a threat to lawyers. It is a threat to the legal profession and to an informed citizenry.
It's not taken seriously enough, and things have got to change quickly before we see a lawyer killed on the streets of London representing someone around the world.
The way how we journalists work, we have to work for our audience, and if our audience stay, we also have to stay.
My worst fear was when the targeting came to the families of the journalists. You're out there in the field, you're used to that. You're used to hearing bombardments, you're used to seeing those bullets shot at you, especially in a place like Gaza. But I never imagined that I would be a sense of threat or danger to my own family.
The truth is that you cannot generate income if you're working in exile. You don't take money from prisoners.
We are the source of information, the contra-narrative for the future generation, and that is what gives me hope.
The question every CEO and every corporate board is grappling with right now is how to balance competition and innovation with risk, accountability, and potential human rights implications. And that is why I'm proud to announce that the Thomson Reuters Foundation has partnered with UNESCO on the launch of a world-leading project to promote transparency in how major corporations are using AI.
It is about the transparency of what AI can deliver, and so I would really invite as many companies as possible to engage, because at the end of the day, it will make your businesses better, and the trust of people in the technology will increase.
The piece that actually feels really important and is still not talked about when we think about inclusion and equality is who benefits economically.
You can see in some parts of the world where they're going to be left behind in the AI space if we don't teach people how to use it and give them the ability to adopt it and use it for the good.
To me, one of the most exciting opportunities is finally having a tool that might reasonably be expected to make meaningful inroads against the justice gap.
The thing about bias and the thing about these models is that they're trained on data that comes from people. The people in this room have their own biases. The people on this panel have their own biases. And so it's just transferred.
When transparency is lacking, it is dangerous for workers and bad for business. Companies that participate for more than 5 years share more than 3 times as much information as first-time responders.
It has to be this multi-stakeholder approach, right? And it has to be consumers demanding accountability. It has to be investors. It has to be the nonprofits and the other organizations that are demanding accountability, but also being willing to engage with these businesses as well.
We actually need a movement. We need investors who demand that they understand what companies are doing with their workers, and we need policies from all of our governments that rebalance the playing field.
The point about legislation is quite valid because what was voluntary 5 years ago is mandatory today.
Yeah.
And it's in the private sector's interest to stay ahead of that curve, because if they stay behind it, there are fines involved, reputational crises involved. It's not in anyone's interest to do that.
And finally, I'm happy to announce that we will be back here on October 21st and 22nd next year. So please put the dates in your calendar, save the date.